Ladies and gentlemen, I've heard a lot of crazy things coming out of Memphis, Tennessee. I think this one is going to be closer to the top of the list as far as the craziest things that I've heard, definitely all year long. Before we even get started, I know some of y'all are going to get triggered. Very, very triggered by this story. So let me give a quick disclaimer for those who might be new to the channel and my content. So some of y'all might find this content offensive or controversial, but the information is coming from credible sources. My commentary is going to be opinions about the facts of this story, but I'm doing this in hopes of preventing this thing going forward if people would just open their freaking ears and take what I'm saying to heart. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And guess this actually has something to do with children in a sense. Memphis, Tennessee, y'all taking a huge L on this one. Huge L. Now, details have emerged in a Cordova shooting after officers said that the individual that y'all see on my screen, let me back this up like a U-Haul truck, that guy that you see right there, Byron Pipkin. It almost looks like Pimpin' Ken, his last name, but it's Pipkin. That almost looks like it's supposed to say pimpin', but it doesn't. Byron Pipkin killed his girlfriend and barricaded himself in a Memphis hotel. Can we get a hashtag mom's boyfriend? Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Hashtag stupid names equals stupid things. Hashtag hood hoes love hood dick. Hashtag TTO and TTT. Hashtag live by the thug, die by the thug. Those are all AFC hashtags. And I have to use damn near all of them for this story because it's that damn stupid. The shooting that happened Thursday in the 1000 block of Crosswood Lane, one woman identified as this lady. Let me back it up. Marquitcha Thomas, 28 years old. Please take note of her age. She is only 28 years old. I know that they probably were trying to come up with a creative way to say Marquisha, because the Q-U-I-C-H, I guess that's supposed to be quiche. Marquitcha Thomas. No, I guess it has to be Marquitcha. This woman was shot and pronounced dead at the hospital. Detectives later found out that Thomas and her boyfriend, Byron Pipkin, got into an argument at their home. It never ceases to amaze me how these women will get with these thug lions, go to the thug zoo, hashtag thug zoo. Make sure if y'all ever hear anybody say that, they know they got it from the AFC podcast. That come directly from me. Don't let nobody steal my content without giving me credit for it. They go to the thug zoo and want to play with the thug lions, and then they are absolutely shocked and surprised when the thug lion decides to snap and act like a thug lion and attack them. They got into an argument at their home. Court documents state that one witness saw Pipkin shoot Thomas as she tried to run out of the garage. Don't they look like a happy, beautiful couple right there? Huh? Until they get to shooting and murdering each other. And I know that y'all are probably wondering, who are all of those children that are in that picture right there? Like we say in the South, we'll get back to it here in a moment. We're going to talk about them kids, please believe me. He shot her as she tried to run out of the garage, and when Thomas collapsed in the front yard, officers said that Pipkin, who's 33 years old, dragged her back into the garage before going into the home and telling a 6-year-old girl to come with him. Pipkin then reportedly fled the scene with the 6-year-old child. Why that particular child? Is it his child? Who knows? Police said that Pipkin then called 911 and told operators that he was following a person who shot his girlfriend. So he concocted a cockamamie story, called the police, and told them this. And I'm getting this information from WREG.com. So don't get mad at me. Just Jay, you wasn't there. Yous don't know what yous talking about. Well, neither did the police. They weren't there. Do they not know what they're talking about? The judge wasn't there. Do they not know what they're talking about? The coroner wasn't there. Do they not know? What about the public defenders that are probably going to be defending this dude? He allegedly claimed that another man was the shooter during the 911 call, but officers later determined that it was indeed the boyfriend who was the shooter. Officers also said that Pipkin dropped off the 6-year-old girl at an acquaintance. We need to put a prayer hands up in the chat for this, that this fool didn't do anything more stupid than what he did. But he dropped this child off at an acquaintance home before leaving the area. So thank God that that child is safe. Pipkin was found one day after the shooting in an Economy Inn on Ketchum Road after police received a tip on his whereabouts. Somebody saw something and said something. Thank goodness for that. Now, the sheriff's office said that Pipkin barricaded himself in that hotel room and refused to come out of the room after they gave verbal commands. Pipkin's loved ones also showed up to assist investigators. Police said that Pipkin walked out of the room 2 hours later and was taken into custody. According to court documents, Pipkin was previously convicted for aggravated assault in 2012. For those who might say, I don't know what I'm talking about, you can look this information up. But say it again. He's already a convict. When I say thug, thug relates to his actions, not his skin color, not because he's black. It's because he committed acts that were criminalistic. He was previously convicted for aggravated assault in 2012, but that's not it. Oh, excuse me. Well, that part is it. But he's now being charged with first-degree murder, convicted felon in possession of a handgun, domestic assault, and existing arrest warrants. So I guess he had warrants for some other stuff. But he's expected to appear in court, and this is back on July the 5th, so it was only a few weeks ago. Hashtag, when you date thugs, you date death, and this is what happens. Let me give you guys the fair usage. I pray that some of these ladies, these young black ladies, or these people who end up in these domestic violence situations will start to wake up and listen. I don't know how many people are hearing me. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I almost forgot. There was one key detail that I forgot to mention. I told y'all I was going to tell y'all about the picture of those children. Pretty girl, too. She's a very pretty woman. 28 years old. Let me show y'all something. Like Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you something. Right here. Who are all of these people that you see on my screen right there? Beautiful children, very beautiful children. Who are all of these people? Because they did not say it in the article. These, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 children belong to that woman. Let's do the math. At 28 years old, with 8 children, even if you had them back to back to back to back to back to back to back. That means all you did was accept semen and penis for 8 years in a row. Do they have the same father? I have no clue. But I would have to assume, by the way our society behaves, the way we bring children into this world, the fact that these children look a little bit different from each other, I'm going to assume statistically that some of these children have different fathers, different baby daddies. I mean, no disrespect to the family, but I do need to be honest. Would y'all consider this to be a good mother? To bring all of these children into this world with no stability. Why would I say no stability? Well, Jay, she had a house and she had a room for all 8 of her kids, and they all was well taken care of. But were they though? Let's think about that for a minute. Before I even get to the news video, I'll replay the fair usage. But I got to talk about this. How well were these children taken care of? Let's just say if the mother had a job. Let's say if she was working full-time, 40 hours a week. How much time can you dedicate to your children if you're a single mother, if you got 8 freaking kids? And come home and do what? How do you divide your time and attention between 8 human beings when I personally can tell you it's difficult enough to do that with just 1 kid? Me and my daughter's mother and her mom and my dad and my mom, family and friends can attest that we all had to pitch in to raise my 1 daughter, not 8. 1. Where is the stability when these children probably have different dads, are not seeing the same individual under mom's roof? This dude that ended up murdering her lived under her roof, from what I understand. And they're constantly seeing new dick after new dick, and every time I'm going to get with a man, she's ended up pregnant and creating more kids, and these men are not sticking around for whatever reason. How is that stable to children to constantly see this year after year after year? How do you think that's going to affect the oldest child who's sitting there holding on to that baby like that, like he's the father of that kid? How many people can actually attest to living in situations where a parent or a mother ends up having a bunch of kids by a bunch of different sources, and they grew up in a situation like this? Could I be speaking from things that I actually could be familiar with in my own family? Possibly. I'm not just pulling this out of my rear end. This affects children in a negative way. It makes life hard and more difficult than it already is. To have that many people and not have a solid plan of how to provide and take care of them. How many of them do you think have life insurance? Probably 0. They're beautiful kids. Please don't get me wrong. But what would prompt mom's thug convict boyfriend to get so upset at her? She's such a awesome woman that produced all these goddamn kids, that this man would turn around and kill her. What would cause him to snap like that? Was it because she's used to jumping from dick to dick to dick and she was ready to hop on the next dick and produce the next kid, and she was tired of his bull crap? Maybe he wasn't bringing enough to her table. Maybe he wasn't bringing enough McDonald's to feed all of her kids instead of just his own kid. Was it something like that? How do you provide food for all of these kids? How? How, Sway? How do you provide food for 8 kids? Oh, that's right. Maybe we could be getting government assistance? Is that a possibility? I'm sure with 8 kids, I'm pretty sure that she's probably getting government assistance. Unless the child support is that crazy, I'm pretty sure she's getting government assistance. And I continue to say this. If you need government assistance after having 1 kid, you don't need to have any more kids at all. If you need help with 1 kid, you shouldn't be given help after you have more than 1. Because you've clearly proven that you couldn't take care of 1, but you keep adding to the equation and adding to the equation. And I know I'm saying a whole lot before I even play the news video. Y'all can clearly see that this triggered me, which is why I chose to talk about this particular foolishness. It's not the kid's fault. It is not the kid's fault. It is not the children's fault. We as adults and mothers and fathers, it's our fault. So when I point that finger, it points back at me also. We cannot continue to keep doing this. Once we realize that we're doing things that are detrimental to our future and our society and our legacy, then we have to make a change. If I understand that being a single father or creating children outside of wedlock is not the best thing to do, then don't you think that I should be the first person to realize and raise my hand and say the way that I did it was wrong? Yes, that applies to me. For those who like to jump in my comment section and make it seem like I'm jumping on my high horse, y'all, and it don't apply to me. No, it absolutely does apply to me. The person who did it wrong should be the first person to tell you you shouldn't be doing it this way, including myself. I found out real quick how difficult it was to raise a solid human being. And me and my daughter's mom had a lot of help. So I think I'm the perfect person to speak from that experience and pray and hope that I look into this camera and hope that I'm talking to somebody that hears in the pits of their soul where I'm coming from. This is not good. We can't keep doing it this way. We continue to keep doing this, and we continue to keep talking about, well, mental illness and mental illness. How do you think this is going to affect the children when they hear this story and know what happened to their mom? Not from the news, but the fact that when they go to their mom's funeral, they're going to know that their mom ain't here no more. They brought all of them into this world. What's the story going to be? Well, it was just time. God decided to call her home. That's the story y'all gonna tell these babies? Or are you gonna tell them the freaking truth that when you date thugs, you date death, and when you fuck with these thugs, yes, they're going to react violently towards you and could cost you your life. You live by the thug and you die by the thug, and that's the truth. And it could spawn mental illness, which is why we should be preemptively thinking about this stuff before we get to this. Let me show y'all this stupid ass shit. Maisha Atkins is the organizer of this fundraiser, is asking for $80,000. Maisha, for what? So you mean to tell me that Marquicha's funeral is going to cost $80,000? Or are you telling me that you're going to take the remaining of that $80,000 after y'all put that woman in the ground and turn around and use it to take care of these children? Well, here's the bad part and the bad part about that. First and foremost, $80,000 shouldn't be used on GoFundMe to take care of these kids, because that's what parents are for, right? Where they freaking daddies at? Make their asses pick up the freaking bill, pick up their kids, come get their rights back. Are they in jail? Who knows? If they're not in jail, if she like jailbirds, who knows? The second part that's real bad about that, the sad part is even if you gave them $80,000, give them $100,000, give them $500,000, it's not going to take care of 8 kids. That's the sad part about it. GoFundMe in this situation ain't nothing but a little Band-Aid on a big, huge, gaping hole that can't be fixed. $80,000 to do what? This is just flat out silly. Now that I've already given you guys the fair usage, let me just show it on the screen again. Right there, fair use. Let me give you guys the news videos. It was only one. Let me repeat that. This was only one news video that I found through all of the internet.
Topping the news at 10 tonight, family and friends come together to remember a Memphis mother of 8 who was shot and killed. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shay Arthur. Investigators believe the woman's boyfriend is responsible. WRAG's Jordan James was the only reporter at a vigil tonight. He joins us now live in the studio with how Marquisha Thomas's loved ones are coping with her death. Jordan, I can imagine this was very emotional.
Yes, Shay, as you would imagine, this loss hits close to home for many of them on a weekend that is supposed to be filled with joy has turned into sorrow for those who knew and loved Marquisha Thomas.
The banks of the Mississippi River.
What's up?
Good. Loved ones have come together to remember Marquisha Thomas.
She was always 10 toes down.
A piece of me left when my little sister left, for real. Couldn't do nothing but cry.
The mother of...
Did she just say that? No, she did not just say that. She said my sister was always 10 toes down. I gotta hear that again.
Joy has turned into sorrow for those who knew and loved Marquisha Thomas.
She did not just say 10 toes down. Did she mean 8? 8 toes down? 8 kids down? 8 toes? Never mind.
The banks of the Mississippi River.
What's up?
Good.
Loved ones have come together to remember Marquisha Thomas.
She was always 10 toes down.
She was always 10 toes down. Could it have been she was always 10 toes up in the air? Should I just shut my mouth and let the video play? I think so. I think somebody gonna get in their feelings.
Banks of the Mississippi River.
What's up?
Good.
Loved ones have come together to remember Marquisha Thomas.
She was always 10 toes down.
A piece of me left when my little sister left, for real. Couldn't do nothing but cry.
The mother of 8 was killed last week when police say her boyfriend Byron Pipkin shot her and dragged her body into the garage and drove off.
They don't know. When they take a loved one, they don't know how much it really hurt to lose my only daughter I had.
Prior to Marcus Briscoe's child being taken away, he says the warning signs were there and his deepest fear came true last week.
I had told her, I said, if a man beating on you and pulling guns on you, sooner or later, he gonna kill you. And
Wonderful advice, Dad. Good Lord. Oh, my goodness. Remind me to never visit Memphis. I'm sure they're going to hate me out there. I always tell my daughter, if a man beating on you, kicking on you, selling drugs in your house, pimping on you, busting guns in your house, committing felonies, bringing his homies around your kids, y'all. I always told my daughter, he gonna kill you. Right on, Dad. Right the fuck on. Wonderful message.
I had told her, I said, if a man beating on you and pulling guns on you, sooner or later, he gonna kill you, and I'm gonna have to bury you. And it went just like I said.
It went just like I said, while Daddy sitting there looking like he just got out of prison break or some shit. Sorry, Dad, but damn, bro. Jeez. It's just a hard knock life out here for us. It's just a hard knock life.
Ended up being arrested after a tip led officers to a South Memphis motel where they took him into custody.
Get out. Please get out. If he fighting you, pulling guns on you, get out the relationship, because sooner or later, like I told my daughter, he is going to kill you.
Despite what led up to her death, loved ones are choosing to remember her.
They go with the balloons. They think the balloons are going to heaven, and all those balloons are going to do when they lose the helium is they're going to get caught up in somebody's lake, get caught up in somebody's air system, maybe even get caught in an airplane. It's going to kill wildlife and litter all over the place. Good job, people. And I hope y'all do realize that some states are actually making that illegal. Just to let you guys know, it ain't just me no more crying about it. It's actually, y'all actually going to start getting fined for that. Because y'all asses don't listen.
The light in which she was.
It's about the kids, and I just want everybody to stay in good spirits and, you know, love everybody while they're here.
And Pipkin has been charged with first-degree murder, among other charges. A GoFundMe has been set up to support the family during this time. You can find those details on our website. In studio, Jordan James, WREG News Channel 3.
I just want everybody to love each other. You know what? That is amazing advice. And that advice will probably be heeded to more than the advice that I gave as to maybe don't date people like this. Maybe don't bring more children into this world than you can take care of. Maybe have a husband before you start bringing children into this world. Maybe get yourself stable before you start bringing children into this world. It's a lot of things you could be doing besides being 20 to 28 years old, constantly producing children. My God. 8 kids at 28 years old, ma'am. Beautiful kids. They are beautiful human beings. They are. They really are. Y'all know I love kids. But I also believe in being responsible. If I've been irresponsible, I can tell you from my personal experience, it's not smart to be irresponsible. Through all of this stuff, here's the cold part about it. Let me put this picture back up here, because this is important. I want y'all to look at me. Then I want you to break away from looking at me. Then I want y'all to look at him. Take a good look at him. Let me tell you the interesting part about that. You're going to have more people that are mad at me and what I said about this story and my sentiments. You're going to have more people mad at me than mad at the NIGGER that did this to this mother of 8 kids. You'll probably have the dad of her, the grandfather of these kids, more mad about what I said than the man who did this to his daughter. You'll probably have family and friends that are going to send me stupid ass emails with death threats on my life based on what I said, as opposed to what her choice of boyfriend put her through. Killed her, shot her down in the street like a freaking coyote, and dragged her back into the garage and ran off with one of the kids. We'll blame this on gun violence. It's the guns. It's the guns. Not the niggers with guns. It's the guns. We won't never call the real problem out. We'll get more mad at people calling out the problem than actually trying to solve this stuff. It's a shame. I pray for those kids, and I pray that they all 8 of them, can grow up and become something great. But they're going to need a great positive role model that I think that they were lacking. I don't know if they're going to get that, and just history tells us that there's a high chance that these children might not get the guidance that they actually really need. I spent more time on this story and talked about it way longer than any other story that I normally do because it matters that much to me. I think that lady's life mattered that much to me and her legacy mattered that much to me that I felt like I needed to use this story as a cautionary tale of how we need to make the Black community better, how we need to make our communities better, how we can make Colorado better, how we can make relationships better, and how we can really start to address the problem. And we need to stop incentivizing thugs. They are the first ones to get ass all day long. They got first dibs on all the girls all day long. That's your choice. It's your decision. Like I said, you live by the thug, you die by the thug. But I really wish that if we were really as smart as we claim that we are, that we would start using this head up here instead of letting our loins outthink our minds. But I pray for those children. I put a prayer hands up in the chat. I'm thankful that this is somewhat of a positive story. Don't misunderstand me. It's a tragedy for a lot of different reasons. But it's at least a positive thing that none of the children are harmed. They at least get an opportunity to grow up and become something great. So RIP to Marquisha Thomas, 28 years old, 8 kids. Her boyfriend needs life in prison. He needs to never see the light of day ever again. If they give him the ultimate penalty under law, I wouldn't be mad. But let me know what you guys think. I'm sure y'all got a lot of opinions about this story. This one matters to me. If any story of mine was ever going to go viral, I would hope this one would be. Give me 1 million views on this one. Share this story. Leave your comments in the comments section. Thank you.